Somewhere around week 7 or 8, something changed. Not my output, not my schedule, not my motivation. The argument stopped. You know the one. The daily negotiation your brain runs before you do anything hard. Do I feel like it today? Is this a good week for this? Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I didn't win that argument. It just wasn't there anymore. And that scared me more than losing it ever did. This is the Discipline Experiment. 12 videos in 12 weeks. 47 projects started and abandoned before this one. I'm documenting whether I can break that pattern. Episode 11, one away from the finish line. If you've ever gotten close to finishing something and felt the ground shift under you right before the end, stay for this one. I've been trying to find the exact week it happened. There isn't one. At week 2, I was still negotiating with myself every single time. Opening the script doc felt like a small argument I had to win before I could start. Some weeks I won early. Some weeks I circled it for 2 days before sitting down. By week 5, the argument was shorter, quieter, like a radio you've turned down but haven't switched off. And then somewhere in the middle, I stopped noticing it. Not because I got disciplined enough to overpower it, not because I found the right system or the right habit stack. I just looked up one week and the negotiation wasn't happening anymore. The work was just next, like it had always been next. I sat with that for a while before I understood what it meant. And then I did understand. And I realized the finish line I'd been chasing this whole time was the wrong thing to be looking at. There's research on this, specifically on what happens when a behavior gets fully linked to identity. Psychologists who study identity-based motivation have found that once a choice becomes genuinely connected to who you see yourself as, it gets automatized. The deliberation disappears, not because you suppressed it, because the behavior stopped being a decision. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't argue with yourself about whether to do it tonight. You don't negotiate. The decision got absorbed so completely that it stopped registering as a decision at all. That's what happened somewhere between week 5 and week 8. Showing up stopped being something I chose. It became something I just did, like it was already decided. Like the version of me that makes that call had already made it weeks ago, and current me just had to execute. The argument didn't stop because I won it. It stopped because it became the wrong category of question. You don't argue about whether to be yourself. You just are. So here's the part I haven't said yet. I'm 1 episode away from finishing this. And I'm not standing here feeling like I proved something. I'm anxious. Because here's what finishing 12 episodes actually proves. That I can finish this. The thing I built. With this structure, this public commitment, this title in the series name holding me accountable, this audience watching. It doesn't prove I can do the next thing. The next thing has no container, no existing audience, no episode 1 to anchor it, no 12-week clock already running, no one who already knows the stakes. And the question I keep circling, the one I don't have a clean answer to yet, is this. When the argument stopped, was it because I changed? Or because this container was strong enough that it didn't matter? I genuinely don't know. And I think that's the most honest thing I can say 11 episodes in. So if you're building something right now, somewhere in the middle, where it's not exciting anymore, but the finish line isn't visible yet, here are 3 things I'd tell you. Not from theory, from inside it. Move 1. Stop measuring by feel. Start measuring by frequency. The argument stopping isn't something you can feel while it's happening. You can only see it in retrospect. So stop asking yourself, am I motivated today? And start tracking a simpler question. How many times this week did I negotiate with myself before starting versus just starting? That ratio changes slowly, but it changes. And one day, you'll look back and realize the negotiation is quieter than it used to be. That's not nothing. That's the actual evidence of progress, and it doesn't show up in your analytics. Move 2. Don't mistake the container for the change. The structure I built for this series, the public commitment, the weekly schedule, the title, that was scaffolding. Good scaffolding, necessary scaffolding. But scaffolding isn't the building. If everything you've built only works inside the container you created it in, you haven't built a habit yet. You've built a performance. The test is what happens when the scaffolding comes down. I don't know yet what's scaffolding and what's me. Episode 12 won't answer that, but asking the question early is better than being surprised by the answer later. Move 3. Trust the mechanism, not the feeling. The argument, stopping, I didn't feel transformed when it happened. It wasn't a revelation. There was no moment where I looked in the mirror and recognized someone new. It was quieter than that, a subtraction, not an addition. And the research says that's exactly how identity level change works. Not as something you feel arriving, but as something you notice has already been there for a while. So if you're waiting to feel like a different person before you act like one, that's backwards. You act your way into the feeling, not the other way around. The mechanism works even when you can't feel it working. Think about something you're in the middle of right now, not finished, not abandoned, somewhere in the uncertain space between. Has the argument gotten quieter, or are you still negotiating every time? Drop it in the comments, just the honest answer. Because the people who know they're still negotiating, they're closer to the other side than they think. I opened this episode telling you the argument stopping scared me. Here's why. Because every time I've quit something before, 47 times, I told myself a story about why. Wrong niche, bad timing, smarter path. The story always made the quitting feel reasonable. But if the argument was gone, if showing up had become automatic, then when I quit the next thing, I wouldn't have that story anymore. I just have the fact of it. The argument stopping raised the stakes on everything that comes after. I still don't have the answer. But here's what I do know. 11 weeks ago, I didn't know if I could finish something. I thought about it constantly, worried about it, built systems around it. Now I'm not thinking about it. Not because the question got answered, because I kept going long enough that it stopped being a question. You don't find out if you can do something by thinking about it. Thinking keeps the doubt alive. Thinking gives the question somewhere to live. The only thing that converts a question into an answer is not stopping. That's what 11 episodes taught me. And the question was never whether I could finish. It was whether I'd keep going long enough to stop asking. Episode 12 next week. One more to go. Still here.